everyone. Welcome to Portugal Ferrari Challenge. We are ready to rock. In this, our 30th anniversary year of the Ferrari Challenge, welcome to Portimão for Trofeo Pirelli Race 1, which is going to be our very first race of this 30th anniversary season. It is 2022. The sun is shining, the cars are lined up on the grid, and we are ready to contest what will be another fantastic championship across the Ferrari Challenge. Here is our calendar for 2022. Portimão is where we are. Then we head off to the south of France, Paul Ricard. Then into Budapest, Hockenheim, Silverstone in the UK, Mugello, and then round 7. Right at the end of October, it will be our glittering finale mondiale in Imola. There we are looking at the turn 5, the Torre VIP turn, and now our circuit location. So you can see where we are around about 45 minutes from Faro here in Portimão in Portugal for this, the first round of the Ferrari Challenge for 2022. First race on track will be our Trofeo Pirelli drivers, and this is the track that they will contest. Sector 1, the huge turns 1, 2, 3, and 4. 3 right-handers, 1 left-hander before we get into Sector 2 with the hairpin. Then you climb uphill. It's a really windy, undulating part of the circuit through Sector 2, turns 5 and 10. Then the final sweep around turn 13, 14, where your trajectory is so necessary to be got right so that you get great speed along the start-finish straight. That's the way the track looks in terms of the 3 sectors that make up this 4.692 kilometer track. Weather conditions, 18 degrees. The track temperature is 31 degrees and barely any wind to speak of at all. So as it makes its way through the Algarve countryside, this is quite a track. And there were some iconic images of this car in action. The car that started this wonderful one-make series, the Ferrari Challenge. Of course, it is the 348. What an iconic car. And it will be at every round of our Ferrari Challenge this year, reminding us of the heritage of this fantastic championship and the very car that started it all off. And there you can see it in all its glory. What a wonderful machine this was, and of course, the evolution of this through the various cars that have made up the Ferrari Challenge car throughout its 30-year history. Extraordinary heritage, extraordinary lineup of cars, because now, of course, we use the 488 Challenge Evo car. So there you can see the cars lined up on the grid, ready to do battle in this first race, which features our Trofeo Pirelli drivers.
Hi, my name is Luca Nurmi and I'm 17 years old and won the Finale Mondiale last year, and today I want to show you my video from Portimão, so let's go! First we have steep downhill and faster right-hander, which is a pretty nice corner because, yeah, it's fast. And then we have a tighter hairpin, which is quite tricky because you have to keep on the right side to get a good exit from next left-hander, which is really important, so you will get good speed to the next corner. Then a few corners later we have a double right-hander, which is a really important corner here. You can lose a lot of time here, and for me it was not the easiest corner here. And then it's the beautifulness of Portimão, steep downhill and then uphill just after that. And then faster right-hander, and again the exit matters quite a lot because the straight is quite long. Then we come to the last corner, which is the fastest corner on the track and maybe the most important, where you can lose a lot because the exit really matters here, because the straight after that is really long, and then across the finish line, and yeah, that's it.
No one better to give us a high-speed lap around the Portimão circuit than Luca Nurmi. What a start he was last year when he made his debut in the Ferrari Challenge, the youngest ever driver in the Ferrari Challenge, as the awesome sound of that 348 car leaves the grid now. It sounds wonderful and looks great too. It could be racing today and it would still look contemporary. What a beautiful looking car. And of course, celebrating the heritage and the history of this enormous championship, the Ferrari Challenge. So the 348 then, that of course appeared in so many circuits around not only Europe, but also in North America and Asia Pacific as well. The very car that started this wonderful championship, the 348. So let's go down to the pit lane now and find out how the drivers are feeling ahead of Trofeo Pirelli Race 1.
Title for Michelle Gattin. All eyes are now on Doriane PIN. Can she achieve the same in the same team? Let's grab a quick word. So far she's on pole. Doriane, what do you need to do today to turn this pole into a victory?
We need to do a good start for sure, to be consistent during all the race, and yeah, to be concentrated for sure.
Thank you very much. Good luck.
Thank you.
Doriane PIN then, who in qualifying put the car on P1, the best of the Pirelli drivers. And Luca Nurmi is the second best of the Pirelli drivers, but he will be starting on the second row of the grid, going from P4. This was the best of the AM drivers. Marco Pulcini then, in that glorious blue 488 Challenge Evo. Marco Pulcini for Altea Motors. The best of the AM drivers, but actually really, really quick, because he's put it on the front row of the grid. So good job done there. And right now, let's go back down live to the track because Christian Brunsborg is standing by.
You were second in qualifying for your class. How are you feeling ahead of the race?
Very good. Looking forward to the first race of the season. Hopefully, it's going to be good.
Thank you very much. Good luck.
Cheers, Christian, taking good time just at the start of the race and giving us how he's feeling. Of course, he had some bad luck last year. He'll be looking for great things this year. This is David Gosner, who also did a very good job in qualifying. P6 in class, P8 on the grid overall for the Pirelli AM drivers. So, there they are, lined up behind the Richard Mille safety car. And just a few seconds after the safety car leaves the grid, so too will our competitors in Trofeo Pirelli. The mix of Pirelli drivers and AM drivers ready to contest the first race of our 30th anniversary season in the Ferrari Challenge. Delighted to bring you the action throughout the season. And what a shot that is from the back of the Richard Mille safety car then, as that car leads us away. There is the number 2 car of Ange Bardet, who is another good qualifier in Pirelli AM, P3. Here's the grid in full for you. Pole position, the Scuderia Nicky Iron Links team, so good last year, they're doing it again this year. Doriane PIN along P1. Marco Pulcini alongside, then it's Christian Brunsborg and Luca Normi, who we heard from a moment ago. Onja Barde goes from P5, Nicolo Rosi alongside, good quality Nicolo. AC, Alessandro Cozzi, P7, David Gossner, P8. Hanno Laskowski for Riller and Schnaut goes from P9 with Arno Dahlmeier alongside. Two British drivers together on the 6th row, Omar Jackson and Andrew Gilbert then. And then we see Andujar Paulo and John Vortique. Juan Andujar Pulido, welcome to the Ferrari Challenge. And John Vortique, who had a torrid time of it in qualifying and has not had a brilliant weekend thus far. And he was one of the championship contenders last year. So he's going to have to dig deep as I pose that question to my colleague Nico Spalek alongside me. John will really have the bit between his teeth, won't he?
Yeah, definitely. He obviously off to a very, very bad start in qualifying. He's going to look to rectify that. And from the last row, that means if he wants to really mix it up for the race win, he has a lot of overtaking to do. Can he do it? I'm sure he can, and he will be determined to do it, but it is a big ask.
It is a big ask on this undulating surface where you can see there are so many elevation changes. And there is Christian Brunsborg, another one that suffered for some bad luck. There is Luca Nurmi, there's Onja Barde, and there is the safety car. Then as the cars line up behind the safety car, they will form in a grid formation, so they will go side by side as we reach the conclusion of the lap. And then, as is always the case in the Ferrari Challenge, it will be a rolling start to add to the drama, to add to the excitement in this, our 30th anniversary season. The Trofeo Pirelli cars, we're thrilled that you're with us. We're thrilled that we can bring you this overhead shot then as those cars are ready to do battle. Delighted that some spectators have been allowed back into the circuit as well to enjoy the action that we perhaps take for granted. And of course it has been so difficult for fans and lovers of motorsport in 2 very pandemic affected years, not being able to see the racing they love. Hold on to your hats because we are about to go racing as the cars head up towards the lighting gantry now. It's not the cleanest or clearest starts that I've seen, but we are ready. The lights go green. Great start from Luca Nurmi as he puts himself alongside Christian Brunsborg. And Doriane PIN makes the car wide. Christian Brunsborg takes just a little look at the inside, but it wasn't to be for Christian Brunsborg. He took a look. Doriane PIN, P1, P2. Here's Marco Pulcini as they make their way through the pack then and through the first sequence of turns. This is Ferrari Challenge Trofeo Pirelli, the mix of Pirelli drivers and AM drivers then. And it is P1, P2. So P1 with the Pirelli driver, P2 with the best of the AM drivers. Pin from Pulcini, from Brunsborg, from Normi, from Barde, from Rossi, from Cozzi, from Jackson, Gossner, Dahlmeier, Laskowski, Andujar, Pulido, Gilbert, and Vortique. So what Doriane PIN will try and do now is build as much as she can, but look at Onja Barde really pressuring Luca Nurmi for that P3 on track. So Luca Nurmi has got the rear view mirror of his 488 Challenge Evo full of the car from the LSF Côte d'Azur team, and that is being driven by Onja Barde, who of course is somewhat, and he won't mind me saying it, as David Gossner takes a look at the inside. We could just see that at the back of the picture. There was a mistake from Luca Nurmi. That's enough for Onja Barde to have gone through. I was going to say there is a big difference in the ages between Onja Barde and Luca Nurmi. I'm sure Onj won't mind me saying that, and he's taken advantage of all the experience he has because he piled the pressure on Luca Nurmi and has put himself through. However, Luca Nurmi will indeed fight back. There's no question about that. So we put the first lap in the book then. It's recorded for posterity, and all the drivers just beginning to feel where they're at. David Gossner has moved up past Arno Dahlmeier and also Omar Jackson. David Gossner is on fire this afternoon, really doing a great job in racing, and he is up to P7. That's P5 within class. Is a podium a possibility for David Gossner? Very much so, I would suggest. Now, the man that has not made the progress that perhaps I expected is John Vortique, if I am honest with you. So John Vortigue still perhaps struggling with the strifes that he's had during free practice, and also through the quali session, as we see AC Alessandro Cozzi dive across the curbs. That played nicely into the hands of David Gosner, who is now only one place away within class of a podium-paying position, Nico.
Definitely, and he really looks like the man possessed in this race. We've got the message on our timing screen that the start is under investigation, and Dave, you already said it. It looked a little bit untidy, and drivers who were supposed to be in line behind the car in front of them kind of were not. Just briefly, John Vortigue, he's really dropping away. He's already 11 seconds off the car in front of him. So much that you don't like to start a season off like that, he's trying to get the minimum race distance to gain some points in this race, and thereby not lose too much in the championship race, because sometimes racing is about being smart and looking at the big picture, and that's what John Vortigue is doing.
This is Hanno Laskowski then taking a look at the Nicola Rossi car. There's Onjabade then, who is now P4 on track, P3 within class, and there is Luca Normi, who is P2 in class, but P5 on the track. So you can see that the pace that Onjabade has is impressive. And now he's going to take the fight to another young whippersnapper. And by young whippersnapper, I mean Christian Brunsborg. And this is a fight within class, because both Christian Brunsborg and Onjabade are running in the Trofeo Pirelli AM class. So Brunsborg, of course, has got the car of Marco Pulcini ahead of him. Doriane PIN has already extended the lead to 2.7 seconds. So great driving from Doriane PIN. And as we heard from the track earlier on, just ahead of the start of the race, of course, the Scuderia Nicky Iron Lynx team with so much success in Michel Gatting last year, that trajectory seems as though it's being continued now with Doriane PIN, Nico.
Yeah, definitely. She is really putting some distance between herself and the rest of the pack, as we see track limit excursions flashing on our timing screen. Which now is not that bad, because you can't be disallowed lap times, but it can be a problem towards the end of the race when these accumulate.
Oh yes, and it's really, really interesting. Two of the cars that are being affected, or not affected by, but are exceeding the track limits are those that are in the fight for the P2 place, if you will, in Trofeo Pirelli AM. The very two cars that you can see on screen right now, Christian Brunsborg and Onjabade. So, we have a very firm but fair race director who takes a look at everything as Onjabade continues to pursue Christian Brunsborg. I don't think he's quite close enough to have a go as they climb uphill and into the first turn, which is a fast right-hander. But Christian Brunsborg's rearview mirrors are full of the Onjabade car, and now Marco Pulcini is under threat from Christian Brunsborg. Christian knows he needs to try and get past Pulcini, not only to give himself the lead of the AM race, but also to protect himself from the hugely, hugely aggressive Onjabade right behind. What a race this is turning out to be as Doriane PIN escapes up the road. What Christian Brunsborg will try and do now is provoke perhaps a mistake from Marco Pulcini by being right up his trumpet and trying to just get him to lose concentration for a millisecond as they climb uphill. But of course, Onjabade is hoping for exactly the same. Christian Brunsborg is in this position where he's hunting and being hunted. It's a devilish position to take as Pulcini slams the door. Brunsborg runs a bit wide. That allows Onjabade to get ever closer. Wow, what a fight this is.
Yeah, really exciting and great shot from above. You can see how this zigzags, and there is Onjabade just thinking better of it. Almost had to go alongside, but on the wrong side, but he will try to be on the inside. This is going to be very interesting when they get on the home straight.
Oh, is there going to be a little love tap from Onjabade? I hope not, because of course it needs to be clean and tidy. And at the moment it is absolutely, it's a brilliant, brilliant firm fight. But both these drivers are getting a warning flag, Nico, for track limits.
And that is with 7 minutes run in the race. That means 23 minutes remaining. Wow, that has to be very, very difficult to try and battle and still try to keep it in the white lines, because, you know, any excursion will earn you a penalty from here on out.
More information from the pit lane that I can tell you is, of course, that please bear in mind during the first part of the race, those drivers that are being really, really aggressive, and Brunsburg and Bardet are two of those, will they pay the price for that aggression in terms of tyre deg when it comes to the end of the race? Because they're going to be taking a lot out of their tyres. And bear in mind that Doriane PIN is perhaps the lightest driver out there on track. As Brunsburg runs wide, that opens up the door for Ange Bardet, but he is going to be on the wrong side of the track, but he's done it. He has got through and he slammed the door firmly shut on Christian Brunsburg. A great, great overtake there from Ange Bardet. And Nico, I know you picked up on something on the timing screen that I didn't see.
We've got our first penalty, which is not for track limits, but it is for a jump start, and that's unfortunately Omar Jackson, who's being hit with a time penalty for that jump start. So that really puts him in a very difficult position for the rest of the race. But as you said, Ange Bardet, great move there.
He was relentless with the pressure, wasn't he? And eventually it paid off because it was a mistake from Brunsburg. However, so many cars through turn 1 and turn 15, Nico, are exceeding those track limits. I think, and dare I predict, and I do not want to be the prophet of doom, but with only 9 minutes of the race remaining, 9 minutes of the race having gone, therefore 21 minutes of the race remaining, the grip is going to go away towards the end of the race. Track limits are going to be even harder to keep within. Surely we're going to see some penalties, I would have suggested.
I wouldn't bet against that. Now the drivers, obviously now there is a little bit of space between them, which allows them to be a little bit more tidy potentially. But as you say, it's a long race remaining with tyre degradation coming into play.
So now Ange Bardet is going to put the hurry up on Marco Pulcini ahead. So Ange Bardet can see and sniff and smell the prospect of a class race win here. Look, under braking, how close he has got to Pulcini. Whoa, and he doesn't need to fight too hard, Nico, because car number 27, which is Marco Pulcini, who is currently leading the AM race, is going to get a 5-second time penalty. What was I saying?
Well, you nailed that one. Now the question is for Ange Bardet, will he dial it back? Because he knows he doesn't have to overtake on the track. Because the last thing he wants to have is suffer the same fate. Absolutely. And then be in the same position that he was just a few seconds ago.
Well, I think he's well aware of that because, look, all of a sudden the gap has really elongated between Marco Pulcini and Ange Bardet. You just saw confirmation of the time penalty that was put on screen for us. And already you can see Pulcini, actually, the back end of his car, it's looking a little bit loose, Nico. And I reckon that's down to perhaps having really taken so much out of the tyres in the early stages of this race. The man that has got extraordinary pace, bar none, is Ange Bardet. But now he doesn't have to fight too hard because whilst it shows on the graphics on the left-hand side of your screen that because his number is coloured in white, and it says he's P3, which is P2 in the white class, which is for the AM drivers. By the time Pulcini picks up his 5-second time penalty, Bardet will be the leader. However, car number 4, Christian Brunsburg, has now picked up a penalty, so that changes the position that he is in, which is 3rd place, which surely advantages David Gosner. What's the gap between Brunsburg and Gosner?
It's a little bit too much. David Gosner actually has about 8 seconds of a gap to Christian Brunsburg, so it doesn't immediately change the positions. But obviously for Ange Bardet, that makes it extremely comfortable because the car chasing him on the track actually is 5 more seconds behind him. But just as we say that, car number 2 exceeding track limits at turn number 1, and that is Ange Bardet. And will you bet against that?
No.
Or being back to square one with all of those 3 picking up penalties and the race is back on?
It's possible. You're absolutely right, and well picked up on that. So these are the 2 cars that are racing then in the Trofeo Pirelli AM category. Doriane PIN, incidentally, is pouring herself a cup of coffee. She's so far up the road, 7 seconds. I mean, has just escaped like a thing possessed. And here is Christian Brunsburg then, who yielded effectively and unwillingly to the pressure. But there you can see confirmation of the 5-second time penalty that will be awarded to Christian Brunsburg post-race. So that basically means it doesn't change the positions that they're in on track until the end of the race, as Angebadi now decides he wants to dispose of Marco Pulcini. Pulcini tries to close the door. They go side by side. And whilst Angebadi had got the inside line, Pulcini had got quite a bit of momentum. Both cars, well, if you exceed the track limits like that, you're bound to pick up the wrath of our race director. It was so obvious that they were almost mowing the lawn on behalf of the groundsman of the Portimão circuit. So Pulcini, he picks up a warning for exceeding the track limits at turn 4, and so too does Angebadi. And actually, both of them at turn 1 and also at turn 4. I mean, you know, to be fair, we need another voice just to keep looking at the warnings that are popping up on the screen. They are so many. Big progress made by Angebadi, of course, through the race, and also from Arno Dahlmeier on the back end of Angebadi car. Stepped out a little bit. Oh my goodness me, Nico, bring us the bad news.
Yeah, it's always me, Angebadi. I'm sorry to report you're back to square one as it relates to your fight with Christian Brunsberg and Marco Pulcini, because you have also been given a 5-second penalty. So all three of those are basically 5 seconds further behind, but within each other, exactly where they are on track.
Oh, and the back end of the Angebadi car just stepped out then a little bit as well. And here comes another penalty. This is for Christian Brunsberg. And that was a bigger penalty, wasn't it?
I think now that is his second 5-second penalty, so that if we keep track of those penalties correctly, now that puts David Goester into P3
yes,
in
for
class.
Sure.
And we still have half the race to go, so...
Can we mute Marietta's microphone while we're on the air, please? So Doriane PIN leading. Then it's Pulcini and Bade and Brunsberg, and here comes Marco Pulcini then, and he's going through the inside of the John Vortique car, which was the number 26 car that you saw. So the John Vortique car. Please, can you mute her microphone? So this is the way it's looking then, with Pulcini and Bade and Brunsberg. Doriane PIN and Luca Nurmi. And the irony is, Nico, that actually with Trofeo Pirelli, Vortique is actually, even though he's 14th on the track, is actually P3.
Yeah, indeed, and that's why he's out there on the track, because he wants to keep that P3, and he scores that by completing a certain percentage of the race distance, and that is his goal. Now, that's not what you want to do as a race driver. It's probably the worst time you can ever have in a race car when you're not competitive.
Of course.
But he's thinking about the championship, and he wants to bank points for P3. And in terms of points, it doesn't matter if it's 0.02 of a second or 2 laps, as long as he scores the points. That gives him the benefit for the championship.
Now, look at this. And you can see that Angebadi's car is almost drifting, Nico, is their quest to this fight with Marco Pulcini, which continues. Now, this is our race leader, Doriane PIN. For Scuderia Nicky Iron Links, Trofeo Pirelli race leader. Catch this if you will, make a note of it. 10.5 seconds up the road. That is an extraordinary margin. Now, Doriane PIN is the lightest driver out there on track, and even so, of course, she can just race and nail every apex and just concentrate on everything that she's doing, because she's got no problems behind. She's got a clear track ahead of her, so it's a perfect opportunity as here comes Angebadi with Marco Pulcini there absolutely side by side, and now Angebadi into the hairpin, the climb uphill to come. Pulcini will try and get underneath Bade now, but Angebadi set that up really well and has gone through to pick up the lead of the Trofeo Pirelli AM race. Post all penalties that will be added towards the end of the race, and I kid you not, I dare not even predict which way that's going to go come the end of the race. So the order now in Trofeo Pirelli AM is Angebadi, Marco Pulcini and Christian Brunsburg. For Trofeo Pirelli, by a country mile, it is Doriane PIN ahead of Luca Nurmi, who's P5 in the race overall, but P2 within class. And then John Vortique, who, as Nico has quite rightly said, is just actually out there to contest the minimum that he needs to within the race to bank the points for P3, because, of course, he will be hoping for better luck tomorrow. So John Vortique was one of those drivers that was always at the forefront last year. This is not the start to the season that he wanted. Now, with Angel Bardi having got past Marco Pulcini, he is up the road. In replay then, we can see here, this is Omar Jackson on the inside of the number 44 car of Andrew Gilbert. And that was a good overtake from Omar Jackson. We can see it from a different angle now. And there you can see diving up the inside. Now he managed to keep it within the white lines and had got just enough pace to prevent Andrew Gilbert from coming back at that overtake from Omar Jackson. So that was good to see. Lots of interest, of course, on the pit lane as well, as everyone watches what's going on. And the race being led by Doriane PIN from Angel Bardi and Marco Pulcini. But within class, Doriane PIN is almost a week up the road from Luca Nurmi and John Vortique. And there you can see the Doriane PIN car then for Scuderia Nicky Iron Links, just doing a brilliant job. And on every lap, Nico is extending the lead still further. Just a couple of moments ago, I said it was up to 10.5 seconds. Bank this now, 12.25 seconds up the road from Angel Bardi.
Yeah, definitely. No pressure, can keep it calm and collected, can very much manage the tires across this race. So that's probably the most comfortable position. The only fear you have is something going wrong with the car now, which is not something that happens very regularly in the Ferrari Challenge.
For sure.
As we look at that, the closest battle currently is for P3 in the AMS, which is actually 10 seconds distance on the track, which is between Christian Brunsburg and David Gostner,
yes,
which seesaws just above and below that 10-second mark. So that is something that we are watching on our timing screen as the final 10 minutes of the race will begin ticking down.
What a super slow-mo replay this is of the wonderful Scuderia Nicky Iron Links car of Doriane PIN then, which is leading this race now by 13 seconds. Absolutely extraordinary. And we're into the final 10 minutes of this race. This is our race leader then. Doriane PIN, during qualifying, placed the car on pole position and has not looked back since. So Doriane PIN from Angel Bardi and Marco Pulcini and Christian Brunsburg. All of this, of course, is post any time penalties that will be awarded at the end of the race. As the track limit warnings continue to be thrust upon our timing screen. And Marco Pulcini then with Christian Brunsburg for company, and also Luca Nurmi for company as well. He's closed that gap down, but Luca Nurmi, of course, he is within a different class. But it's academic, of course, when you're a racing driver. If you can see a car ahead of you, then that car becomes nothing other than a target that you want to get past. Just under 10 minutes of the race remaining, and still the track limits warnings come in, including for Luca Nurmi, the very man and car that I was talking about. And you can see at the back of this three-way fight in picture now, as this roller coaster of a circuit here in Portimão has promoted some extraordinary racing. And this is Marco Pulcini then in the number 27 car. And this battle for the third position in the track overall is between Marco Pulcini and Christian Brunsburg and Luca Nurmi. And Luca then he's really closed that gap. Now, of course, both Christian and Luca race effectively within the same team, Formula Racing, but they are in different categories. And this is David Gostner, who is having a fantastic time of it here, but all of a sudden is having to really defend from Arnaud Dahlmeier. So Arnaud Dahlmeier looking very lively in the all-white car between the behind the red and gold car of David Gostner. So that's the way it looks. You can see the graphics on the left-hand side of your screen with 8.25 minutes left to run. Here's the live gap between David Gostner and Arnaud Dahlmeier. It's merely 0.3. That's nothing.
Yeah, and David Gostner must have had some issue on the previous lap because he lost like 4 seconds to the other drivers around him. And that allowed Alexandro Corsi actually to get by him and join that chase for the official P3 place on the podium, because he's now the closest one to Christian Brunsberg.
Okay.
But you can see he's already far out of the shot after having just overtaken David Gosner on the previous lap. So there must have been something, whether it was a mistake or some technical issue temporarily, because right now the race pace looks fine for Gosner.
Absolutely, I would agree with that. And Arno Dahlmeier is really chasing. Now you can see there that Christian Brunsberg was flashing his lights at the Marco Pulcini car ahead. Why do drivers do that? Well, it's just in the hope that the driver ahead will lose concentration just for a millisecond, which would be enough, of course, for Christian Brunsberg to say, thanks very much, I'm going to have a go here now. He really is right on the back of Marco Pulcini now with 7 minutes of the race remaining, and Luca Nurmi is pushing Christian Brunsberg hard as well. So there is Luca Nurmi then in the number 66 car. Pulcini takes a wider line in the exit of that turn, but that does not play to the advantage of the chasing driver, the long sweeping turn up towards the start finish. That's Deborah Mayer, who is the team principal of Scuderia Nicky Iron Lynx. There you can see Christian Brunsberg just showing his face to the inside of Marco Pulcini. He's nothing like close enough to be able to make a move, but we have just 6.5 minutes of the race remaining. We're live to you from Portimão. This is the first Ferrari Challenge race of our 30th anniversary season, and it is the Trofeo Pirelli drivers and cars that are out there on track. And there you can see the lap evolution over the last 3 laps for the likes of one Mr. M. Pulcini, one Mr. M. Brunsberg, and one Mr. L. Nurmi. And Christian Brunsberg is not giving up this fight on Marco Pulcini. Christian Brunsberg had some really bad luck last season. He was a shoe-in, in my opinion, for the championship at one point, and of course he did take the world championship in the end, which was richly deserved. That world championship race is free of the championship. It's once the championships are all done and dusted, you race for what I consider to be the gold roof, which I have to say Formula Racing have not deemed appropriate to paint on the top of the number 4 car, but nonetheless, he is the Ferrari Challenge Trofeo Pirelli Am world champion, Nico.
Yeah, definitely. He had a few unfortunate moments, some his own mistake by his own admission, like yes. I believe he crashed out at the qualifying at Nürburgring and had to start from the very end, and deplorable weather conditions, I'm sorry to say, and therefore wasn't able to advance through the
Germany.
pack.
That's Germany for you.
Absolutely.
And of course, we'll be going to Hockenheim this year, where we can expect blistering sunshine.
And snow.
Yes, Hockenheim featuring on the calendar, and it's slap bang in the middle of July. So yes, Nico's right, it will probably snow. Not only Hockenheim, we'll be going to Budapest, we're going to Paul Ricard next after this weekend, and of course a fantastic event in Silverstone, and then Mugello and Imola, where we round out our season with 2 Italian and iconic Italian circuits. And Christian Brunsberg is very quickly almost reaching that iconic stage in terms of the Ferrari Challenge in his race driving craft, as he tries every which way he can to find a way past Marco Pulcini. But I have to say, Nico, it's been brilliant driving from Marco Pulcini in terms of defending, because he's done it in a very fair way.
Absolutely, and for Pulcini, knowing that Brunsberg has picked up 2 penalties already, it's kind of academic whether he finishes ahead or behind him on the track. The only thing he can't afford is to become wayward, pick up a penalty and get overtaken, because that would put him squarely behind Brunsberg. So he has the benefit of being able to drive very much with his head, where Brunsberg really has to work magic and jinx the other driver in the same way.
Yes. Christian is throwing absolutely everything out in terms of really pushing hard, and I have to say, for us, it's provided some fantastic race action. This is David Gosner then, and in replay here, this is David Gosner and Arno Dahlmeier in the number 13 car for Scuderia Nicky Iron Lynx. And David Gosner, of course, racing for the CDP MP racing team. Team headed up by Massimo Pepe, who is always a lively and colourful character in the paddock here. And talking of lively and colourful characters in the paddock, you can see on the pit wall Just really interesting descriptions that are being used, and hand signals to indicate exactly what's happening out there on track. 19, it's 15. I wish my eyesight was slightly better. 15 seconds is how far Doriane PIN is up the road from Ange Bardi. 15.3 seconds, Nico. That really is a margin. I was going to say, I wonder if Doriane will start picking up the back-marking cars. And sure enough, as we reach the sort of closing stages of this race, that is precisely what's happening, Nico. For the first time in this race, Doriane PIN can see traffic ahead.
Yeah, well, not the traffic that she needs to be very concerned about. Now, obviously, she has to drive past and not into the traffic, but she's under no pressure from cars behind her that she has to make that overtake very, very quickly.
Well, so, to be fair, Andrew Gilbert drove really properly then, didn't he? Could see the faster car approaching behind, indicated right, said, come on through, I'm not going to impede your progress.
Yeah, definitely. So with 1 minute and 40 seconds remaining, we can focus back on this battle for the AM podium. Alessandro Cozzi, I'm sorry to say, for his quest, has not stuck within the 10 seconds of Christian Brunsberg, so his quest for a podium, in spite of the penalties ahead of him, will not come to fruition, barring disaster.
And we start the final lap now. It's now or never for Christian Brunsberg, who's dragging on the inside of the track, trying to get the best of Marco Pulcini. This is going to go all the way to the checkered flag. They're only going to be rounding probably turn 11 when Doriane PIN crosses the timing line. Such is her advantage, but you can see that Christian Brunsberg, all bar pushing Marco Pulcini, is doing everything he can. But it is now or never for Christian Brunsberg. It's the battle for P2. Here comes Brunsberg then to the outside. Oh, and then you could see that Marco Pulcini tried to dial into it, but Christian Brunsberg carries too much speed, so he loses out. So good driving from Marco Pulcini, who realized what was going to happen, knew that Christian would have too much speed, would not be able to make the turn. He didn't, and therefore was able to come back. So desperation stakes from Christian Brunsberg as he tries to find a way by. It's sideways for Marco Pulcini as he scrubs speed off unintentionally, but just trying to control the 488 Challenge Evo through that turn. What a race between these drivers it has been. Perfectly fair between them, and it's been awesome for us to watch. And this is the fight for P2 in Trofeo Pirelli AM, post-penalty, I should say. Oh, and there's a car off and into the gravel now. Ordinarily, that would mean it would be a safety car, but Doriane PIN wins in Portimão for Trofeo Pirelli. Brilliant drive from Doriane PIN. The next two cars that you saw there were back-marking cars. And to take the win at the moment for Trofeo Pirelli AM, it's Ange Bardi crossing the line. Brilliant drive. And then Pulcini does keep it ahead of Christian Brunsberg. There is the delay from the Scuderia Nicky Iron Links team. And team principal Deborah Mayer there with the pink face mask on. Once again, the architect of another success story here for Scuderia Nicky Iron Links. The rest of the drivers come on through and stand by, because race control will take a look at everything. Penalties will be awarded, and we will see how that will affect things when it comes to the actual confirmed result. But there is absolutely no doubting that Doriane PIN in car number 83 takes the win by just 1 and a bit tenths down on a huge 20-second margin between her and the next best placed car on the track. Well, that was a race that kept us on our toes, Nico. Particularly with regards to Trofeo Pirelli AM, just proving how competitive it is.
Yeah, definitely. And kudos to the drivers who picked up the penalties pretty early. They kept it clean for the second half of the race, but which is actually more difficult to do.
When you would expect the penalties to come, arguably.
But yeah, Ange Bardi came out, as we can see, the updated and final result came out on top in the AMs. Marco Pulcini and Christian Brunsberg, as we felt it might be, will be on the podium. I believe the car that we briefly saw on the gravel was Andrew Gilbert, but he made it across the line eventually. So certainly being able to recover from there. Wow. And then Doriane PIN will have to ask, well, what's all the drama about? It was a clean and calm and clean race.
Yeah. What was going on? What was going on? Doriane, you were so far up the road, you didn't see any of it. Absolutely fantastic. Just the way we wanted the season to start, Nico, with a really ferocious race, and it was ferocious. So the cars making their way then on their wind down lap and back into pit lane, and then of course into Parc Fermé. So well done to Ange Bardet then. Number of cars will be taken off to the scrutineering garage, as is always the case, just completely by random. And there's a good shot of the whole paddock here at Portimão. We're situated in the Algarve with the really rather happy holiday atmosphere that brings as well. And very much looking forward to the podium celebrations as the cars make their way into the P1, P2 and P3 positions. And there you can see Marco Pulcini jumping out of the car. They're not necessarily in the right order, but it matters not, actually, whether they're in the right class row or not in the right class row. Well done, Marco Pulcini. That was, I mean, that really did deliver entertainment for us. There's Luca Nurmi, who kind of just didn't seem for me to have the pace that we associate with the number 66 car and driver combo. And there is Doriane PIN, who is 4 foot nothing and weighs, well, weighs about the same as one of my feet, which is particularly irritating. But my goodness, that makes a difference when it comes to being a racing driver, Nico, because she is awesomely quick.
Yeah, she's definitely awesomely quick, and the way she dominated the day, actually. It started with qualifying with almost a second of advantage. That race, I mean, that was just hers, and then the rest of the drivers had their own race, effectively. So really, really good, and great racing from everybody. Christian Brunsberg looks spent, to be honest, as he sits on the tarmac. Made a podium, so that's not a bad start for the season, but obviously this is a dream start for the Nicky Iron Lynx team.
Let's take a look at the confirmed result then, Nico. And here it is then. Doriane PIN takes the win from Luca Nurmi P2 in terms of Trofeo Pirelli. For the AM drivers, Ange Bardet, Marco Pulcini and Christian Brunsberg, what a race they delivered for us. Ahead of Christian Brunsberg, Alessandro Cozzi, then it was David Gostner and Arno Dahlmeier, Hanno Laskowski, Nicolo Rossi, Omar Jackson, Juan Mandujar Polido, Andrew Gilbert, and bringing up P3 in the Trofeo Pirelli was John Wartig. So there we could bring you that classification as confirmed by race control. Following the sheer big number of penalties that were awarded, here comes confirmation of the top three. Doriane PIN, Luca Nurmi, John Wartig for Trofeo Pirelli. For Trofeo Pirelli AM, Ange Bardet, Marco Pulcini, Christian Brunsberg. Here's the pit show.
Big congratulations to Doriane, dominating the race start to finish. You managed to open a gap right from the start. Talk us through that brilliant race from your perspective.
Yeah, it was completely amazing. The start was good and the pace also was good. So yeah, I want to thank all the team and my engineer Deborah, Claudio, and Jack for the amazing job all the weekend, and the goal is to do the same tomorrow. Yeah.
Everybody was talking about you today. What does this victory mean for you personally?
For me, it's the start of, I hope, many of, but yeah, it's a good start of the season, and the objective is for sure to win the championship at the end of the season.
Thank you very much.
Thank
amazing
you.
Job.
It was an amazing job from Doriane PIN, and there we can see. An interesting look, isn't it? With Crash Helmet perched upon top of head. That is David Gostner. And David Gostner then taking P5 within class. At one point, we thought a podium was coming. Let's take a look at some of the highlights in that race right now and enjoy them to music. So there were so many highlights to bring you. Here are some of the race statistics. We managed to achieve 17 laps. Luca Nurmi actually made the best progress in terms of Trofeo Pirelli on Jabade for Trofeo Pirelli AM. Fastest lap, well, no surprise, Doriane PIN then 1:44.970. Almost a full second quicker than Onjibadi, who certainly was not slow, with a 1:45.943. We, of course, will be heading up to the podium next to celebrate the 1, 2, 3. So we are just awaiting the drivers being readied and hurried towards the podium to celebrate the 1, 2, 3 for Trofeo Pirelli and also for Trofeo Pirelli AM. And there you could see David Gostner looking on.
Second step of the podium from Finland, Luca Nurmi.
There's Luca Nurmi then.
As the winner is first victory in Ferrari Challenge from France, Doriane PIN.
And Doriane PIN then will take to the top step of the podium. It's Doriane PIN, it's Luca Nurmi, and it's John Vortique on the podium as the national anthem plays out. And the shortened version of that.
On the podium, the team manager, Scuderia Niki Iron Links. And the trophy
So there is Deborah Meyer, who's out onto the podium as well as team principal, of course, of Scuderia Niki and Iron Links. And Giancarlo Fisichella is here. Fisico making the trophy presentations. First of all to John Vortique. I have to say, Nico, I wonder if that's the slowest P3 that John Vortique has ever achieved, to be honest. Luca Nurmi receives his P2 trophy. And then Doriane PIN. These are lovely trophies, I must say. And well done to Doriane PIN then for the Iron Dames, Scuderia Nicky Iron Lynx taking the win. Super slow-mos of the top three in Trofeo Pirelli now. P3, John Vortique. It's P2 for Formula Racing and Luca Nurmi. And taking the win, Doriane PIN. For Scuderia Nicky Iron Lynx. Trofeo Pirelli race winner. So those the top three in Trofeo Pirelli. Of course, we have a Trofeo Pirelli and podium to bring you as well. And that's the shot of the start-finish straight here at Portimão. And everyone standing by in the sort of assembly area beneath the podium to applaud those that are victorious, which is always the courtesy of everyone to make sure that they stick around for the podium, whether it's an appropriate class or not. They always do that. And there you can see Doriane PIN complete with team principal Deborah Mayer then. And Deborah, congratulations, of course, just elevated to a senior position within the FIA as well. Richly, richly deserved.
And now the second podium, Pirelli AM class. Third on the podium from Denmark, Christian Brunsborg.
There's Christian Brunsborg then. Michele Mambelli, the man that's bringing us the podium ceremony.
Marco Pulcini.
What a great drive from this man, Marco Pulcini.
Of this first race from France, Angebard.
Angebard then on the top step of the podium. Congratulations to all three. Here comes the national anthem.
Il nostro applauso, our claps for the winner.
And as the national anthem fades out, here comes Giancarlo Fisichella once again. Of course, one of the official Ferrari GT drivers to make the trophy presentations. First of all, to Christian Brunsborg, whom you can kind of see from the body language that Christian is disappointed with that. Marco Pulcini receives his P2 trophy, and then Angebard then on the top step of the podium is the winner.
The trophy, Giancarlo, another trophy for you for the team SF Côte d'Azur.
And the SF Côte d'Azur team, of course, receive a trophy as well. Here are the top three then. Christian Brunsborg for Formula Racing. The number 27 car of Marco Pulcini for Altea Motors. And the race-winning car of Angebard for SF Côte d'Azur. And that's a nice shot of the drivers there with their trophies for the photographs, and off they go. We're far from done here in Portimão with our racing from the Ferrari Challenge, because we have a Copa Shell race to come as well. But the Trofeo Pirelli race was awesome. Let's take a look at some of the images that surround the Algarve circuit here in Portimão. So there we have it from Trofeo Pirelli of Ferrari Challenge. Thank you so much for watching that race from Portimão. Bye-bye for now.